Right, everybody, welcome to a new show on the channel. This is called The Black and White View. So in case you don't know, this is going to be a new show on my channel now. It might be once a week, I'm not too sure yet. Because obviously at the moment, career mode has ended for me at the moment. I'm not looking to upload any more episodes on that. I think we've really... It's just not got the interest there. And my channel is basically about Fulham news, football vlogs, stuff like that. So I want to try and keep it at that without having to drift down another tangent. But as I said, this is going to be a once a week show, hopefully, maybe, where we clarify all the major talking points inside the Fulham community. So the main talking point today is all about Slavisa. Obviously, the slow start to the Premier League season has drawn up a lot of scrutiny and a lot of interest of whether he could be one of the first managers in the Premier League to be sacked. And basically, I'm still firmly Slavisa, or Slavin, as it's been used, the term thrown about on Twitter. I'm still firmly Slavin for the primary reasons that, looking at the first few games and stuff, I think we've shown good signs of what we're capable of doing. And I know people might think this is a kind of old news being thrown about now, but I think there's a talking point that I'd like to try and draw up in this and try and really tie up the loose ends, in my opinion, in anyway. So, as I said, the first thing, we played 8 games this season. I've been quite impressed with the team. I know the points to the games to points ratio hasn't been too positive. Only 5 points out of them games we played. Just sit one space above the relegation zone. Only 2 points above the relegation zone as well. So it does leave plenty of room for improvement, but a lot of fans seem to forget the teams we've played so far this season. The likes of City away, Spurs away. We played a lot of them big teams as well. And in particular, when we play the teams that we're supposed to be beating, like Palace, Brighton and Burnley as well, we've done relatively quite well. Also including Watford as well. We've only lost one of them games, which is obviously the 2-0 defeat on the opening day, which we were unlucky not to... On another day, I think we would have probably got something from that game with enough chances, as we all know, and that Stonewall penalty turned away. But as I said, the performances we put in against the teams around us, I mean, obviously we missed, it felt like 2 points dropped instead of a point gained at Brighton, as we all know what happened when we went 2-0 up there. I don't need to explain that again. I've probably spoken about that enough times and everyone's seen about that on social media. But as I said, that's where we're going to pick up most of our points this season. I think a lot of fans seem to forget that when we've played against them teams, we've picked up a good points return. I think that's where, as we all know, in this league, the Premier League's got too many leagues, in my opinion. You've got the top 6 all battling it out for the Champions League, Europa League, and all them places. And you've got the rest of the league all battling it out for the other places. You sometimes get a team who are probably, you always get that surprise package in the league, like a team like Burnley last year, who were expected to finish around lower to mid-table positions. They have a good season and not finishing in Europe. And I think Bournemouth could be that team this year. I think they've started really well. We play them. That's our next home game after Cardiff, and I think that'll be a tough one. But I'll save that for another date. But as I said, in this league, you're going to pick up your points against teams like your Cardiff, your Huddersfields, your teams like that, really, who are of a similar ability, but I think we're better than them. And I think, really, we're going to, I think, just looking at the way we've played, obviously the defensive issues are a big concern. 21 goals conceded now. And I read a stat online, if we were to continue shipping this amount of goals every game, we'd probably end up seeing about 100 goals this season, which is absolutely ridiculous. And it's really a miracle that we're not in the bottom 3 after such a poor start. It's not been the greatest start for Fulham, but if you look back last season as well, Slavisa teams, and even at Watford, I think they don't tend to pick up their form till about Christmas time. And I know there's also that side to the argument where this is the Premier League now; it's a more ruthless league. We can't afford to be playing catch up at that time of year. But if we can get a decent points total coming into Christmas, if we're still sitting above that bottom 3 come Christmas, I think we'll be okay. I mean, we've played most of the big teams away now. We've still got Liverpool to come away and Chelsea away, and I think after that it's really United away, and I think it's all the big teams done apart from Arsenal in the new year. So I think we've done well to get some of the bigger teams out of the way earlier on. The fixture list has probably been kind to us and given us them trips to the big teams like Spurs, City, Liverpool, Chelsea earlier on before the new year, before the turn of the new year. So I think we've been lucky there to get that from the fixture list. And I think this next run of 4 games will be huge for us. I think Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bournemouth, Southampton. If you exclude Liverpool, I don't think we'll get nothing at Anfield. That's being realistic, because they're a really good side. I think them 4 games out of the 5 that we've got coming up next will be huge, I think, really. And that's going to determine whether we're going to start or go down. I think if we get a positive points total, about 7 or so, maybe more out of them games, I think Slav stays in the job. I think if we get less than about 5 out of them, you do question whether or not Slavisa's the right man to take charge. Obviously, there's that little inkling in the background of Stuart Gray departing in the summer. Whether or not that's got much to do with our defensive issues, I'm not really too sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, he worked fantastically well with the back 4 last season, and has done so since coming in 2015, well, late 2015, when Kit Simon's departed. He done well at steadying the ship, did a lot of set piece work with the defensive line. We seemed to know what we were doing from set pieces, and also did a lot of the back four. Seemed to structure them well, organise them well. And he was a very good first team coach. In my opinion, Scott he's a fantastic player, done really well for us, and he's going to be a very good coach in the near future. But I don't think he's up to that standard of organising a defence like Stuart Gray's. I noticed in the warm up as well, especially with the back four, after we did the main drill stuff, Stuart Gray used to take the back four away, used to do a little drill where he used to all four of them line up in the line, play a couple of long balls and something, he used to come forward, nod the ball back, drop in again. I mean, Scott Parks, they started doing that, and I mean, his little drill was getting the back four in a circle, like little tippy-tappy passes, and I don't think that's going to be ideal. I think we need to keep back, you know, I think Stuart Gray was a good coach in terms of getting our back four sorted, but whether or not he was the right man going forward, it's quite many Fulham fans seem in limbo about that. But I think this back four is going to need time. We've not been fortunate with our defensive injuries. I mean, we've had a lot of injuries. Obviously, Alfie Mawson's didn't have a pre-season, so he's only still really coming back to full match fitness. So I don't think he can be scrutinised just yet. I think, you know, when you come back from a big injury like a knee injury, you've got to be very careful because that's potentially career threatening. And I think he's a good defender on his day. He's also had a bit of a back problem after Watford, which he came off against at half time. And I think if we can get to sort this back line, that's a big problem. I know it sounds so easy, but you just got to look at the way Wolves play. They've kept the same team now for 8 games. Nuno Espirito Santo got Wolves the manager of the month for the Premier League for September earlier on today, and they've had a really good start to the season. Obviously, they've done well in their games. They look at a very good, organised outfit who could finish in them European places this season potentially. I mean, it's still early days yet for that, but they're doing all the right things and indicating that there can be a serious top 7, top 8, even top 9 team this season. But I think for us, we need to keep our feet on the ground. So Slavisa's the right man for the job. I think we signed some very good talented players. Some of the signs have looked good. Some of them have looked slightly underwhelming. I do think a lot, potentially for me at Cardiff, give Rico a game in goal in my opinion, because if you look at the way Fabry and Bettinelli have had more game time, and Rico's the only one really who's not had a proper crack of things in terms of league minutes. He's obviously played 2 games in the Carabao Cup. We've obviously won them 2 games, albeit against lower league opposition in Exeter and Millwall. So you can't really look at that and think he's played 2 games, won 2 games. Let's put him in for that reason, because we played against 2 lesser teams really. But I think that would breed a bit of confidence, bringing the goalkeeper, who's obviously not, all right, you can say that he's not lost the game, but I think it'd be good to maybe try and bring a new goalkeeper. And he's obviously been at Sevilla, so he's obviously been in around that big club expectation in Spain, because Sevilla are quite a well-regarded team in Spain, and they've got quite good expectations for a league season, always trying to get into Europe, either winning the Europa League or even trying to get into the Champions League as well. They tend to do quite well in European competition. So I think it'd be good to give him a go. Because then we'd have had all 3 goalkeepers play, and we could be able to assess the situation there and who would be our ideal number 1 going forward. So, as I said, no more career mode on this channel now. That's going to be finished now. Next upload will be Cardiff next week. I'm going to have a little break from YouTube for the week now, so it's international break. Just bring this out, see what type of response it gets. If people want to see more of this, then I'll be more than happy to do so as well. So if you do enjoy this video, guys, as always, like, comment your opinions as well on what you think would be best going forward. If you want to see more of this type of thing, like once a week, let me know. I'm thinking about maybe next week, maybe doing some like match. Obviously, I'm not going to Cardiff, so that'll be a match review, a preview review, maybe even a player ratings in that as well, and then maybe hopefully in the build up at some point in the middle of the week we'll do another one of these if it does get enough response, and if it does get a good just general response. I said before, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new as well. We'll see you all next Friday, Cardiff match review.